And of course, our guest today is Judson Graham. Welcome, buddy. How you doing, bud?
Y'all, it's actually Matt Vineyard this time. No, I'm doing great. I'm driving down from Florida right now. Or no, down from where am I? Pennsylvania to Florida. Yeah.
That seems like a long drive. How long do we have you on the show tonight?
However long you want me. I have 129 miles of gasoline left in this here van. And then after that, I will have to stop. But I could live stream myself getting gas.
Wow. This is going to be a great show. So we got hours upon hours of Judson on the show, and we definitely appreciate everyone that joined us tonight. We got a lot of questions apparently already in the chat. Is that correct? Who said that? Brian?
There are some people in the chat that have a lot of questions. I know a couple of them that told me they do. I got a list. You got a list?
Oh, all right. Let's go ahead and go. Let's go ahead and start with our panel first. So anybody in the panel that wants to ask a question, go ahead. And if you have any questions for Judson in the chat, please go ahead and say something in the chat.
This is cool.
Well, why don't we start by who's Judson?
Yeah, let him introduce himself.
Yes, go ahead, Judson. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a paramotor pilot, first and foremost, but my name's Judson. I'm 20 years old. I grew up in New Jersey and moved to Florida to teach people how to fly paramotors because teaching people how to fly paramotors is awesome and flying in general is awesome. I make YouTube videos weekly now, and I have a camper and I'm about to buy a van and live in it, and that's pretty much it.
Now, you said that you work at Aviator. How long have you been working at Aviator?
So I've been at Aviator since June of 2020, so a year and 3 months as of now, and it's pretty solid, all things considered. I really do enjoy it.
Have you been a paramotor instructor for the entire time at Aviator, or did you go to school at Aviator and then transition over into being a paramotor instructor?
Okay, so I should probably explain how I got into paramotor before that. But I didn't train at Aviator. I went down there to intern, become an instructor, and then I've pretty much been instructing and honing that craft since I've been there. But do you want to hear how I got into paramotor and everything?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm from New Jersey, and I was going through YouTube and saw the McDonald's video. But unlike all of you, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my backyard. Literally, that park is 2 miles from my house. And so I've always been really interested in aviation, but my family, my dad doesn't like planes and stuff, so I never really got exposed to it. But when I saw paramotoring and oh, you can do this and it's accessible, I just knew I had to do it. So I ended up meeting up with Tucker at a local coffee shop by accident. And I was just like, hey man, I watched your YouTube. It was really awkward. I'm like, hey man, I watched your YouTube. And he's like, cool. And I'm like, can I take pictures for you? And I was gonna go to college for photography, and he's like, yeah, sure. Here's my number. And I kind of fanboyed. And then so in December of 2018 and 2017, we're out in the valley getting a Christmas tree, and Tucker comes bombing through the Christmas tree farm. And this is the first time I've ever seen a paramotor fly ever. And I was just awestruck. And then I went over to the park and took some pictures, and then met a dude, Jeff, the blue wing guy in all the videos. And he wanted to become an instructor at the time. So he was like, hey man, I'll teach you how to fly. And I'm like, rad, let's do it. So we just met at the park every weekend and did kiting and read the PPG Bible, and then in June of 2018, Tucker soloed me. That's how I got into paramotor. And then I was 16, had no money, but was apparently persuasive enough to let people let me borrow their equipment, and got 49 flights over the course of 6 months, and then got my own gear, and then I've been doing it ever since. So that's the rundown.
Awesome. That is really awesome. Hey, really, a show of hands, and if you're in the chat, what got you into flying paramotors? Is it the infamous McDonald's paramotor video from Tucker? My hand's up. That was me. Anybody else in the chat?
Yeah.
Anybody else in the panel? Yeah.
Hey, Sean, I'm going to be posting questions in our chat.
Okay, good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I saw that, Eric. It was a Tucker video for me, but it wasn't that one. It was the Hoover Dam video. Was the first paramotor powered paragliding video I saw, and but yeah, Tucker's was the first powered paragliding. John Baptiste Chandelier is the reason I went to YouTube. It played 2 of his videos, and then it rolled over to Tucker. I was like, oh, maybe I need a motor. So
John Baptiste is amazing. He's so good.
yeah, they play
Next
him on
level stuff right there.
And yeah, it's incredible. The video footage of flying, every bit of it. I want to do that when I saw that,
Absolutely. We got a question from Jim CR120 for Judson. Jim said, well, I can barely see this. Who wants to read that question?
I got it. Question
Okay.
for Judson. You just had your brother flying a paramotor. How special was that for you? Is he going to continue, and have you flown together?
Yeah, he just flew. It was really special. Like, honestly, every time you solo a student, it's like a very special moment. But soloing my girlfriend Jillian and Peter, my brother, were like the 2 most special ones, because like you see them fly by you and you're like, oh my gosh, that's like my person doing this, or that's my brother doing this. So it was really special and emotional. I think a lot of people shed tears on that day. We haven't gotten to fly together yet. He's only had 2 flights, but he definitely wants to continue doing it. He really, really enjoyed it a lot. He just couldn't stop talking about it afterwards. So it was really awesome.
Were you able to take him up on a tandem first?
What's that?
Were you able to take him up on a tandem?
Yeah, he's been on 2 tandems beforehand.
Nice.
And the second one, I gave him the throttle and he flew the whole time. So he did really good. But yeah, I just can't imagine being exposed to it for how as long as he has, with me being his brother. Like, he's been around paramotor for 4 years now and never done it. And like, to do it for the first time after seeing it all that time must have been incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What else we got?
Well, I found my old man glasses so I can see now. We got a question from Fly Baby Fly PPG. Do you love to fly acro?
Do I want to fly acro?
Do you love to fly? Why do you love to fly acro?
Why do I love to fly acro? I mean, you gotta break that up a little bit, because I've just started to work on like real acro, like helis and misty flips. But like the motor acro, I just really love the flow of it, and it's just fun. Pulling G's is fun. I find it like relaxing almost now, but really just like the energy management and like being able to control like all this stuff going on really fast, calmly is super satisfying to me. But like real acro, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, it is so incredibly hard. And it's just super rewarding when stuff works. Like I'm just starting to get to the point where I can do helis consistently, and it's just such a cool feeling when it's working. But
I guess a good question is, what do you consider acro? I mean, are wing overs considered acro to you, or spirals, or is it the more, the big things like the helis and stuff like that?
I consider wing overs acro for sure, but like I kind of divide it into powered motor acro, like barrel rolls and stuff, and like floppy wing acro, which I do on my like acro wing, the FLPs. And they're two like kind of completely different disciplines.
Okay. Panel, any questions for Judson?
Yeah, I've got a question, Judson. As far as acro is concerned, where did you start training acro, or how did you start that process?
I got Freestyle 101. It's a program done by Shane Denherter of Team Fly Halo. It's like a 4 or 5 part series on all of the fundamentals of energy management, spiral, small wing overs, asymmetric spiral, big asymmetric spirals, and big wing overs. It's super comprehensive, and if anyone wants to like learn how to do wing overs the right way, watch those videos. That's where I started.
Excellent.
I want to watch those videos.
Yeah, me too.
Even if you don't plan on getting into acro, like all of the concepts of energy management and stuff still apply. They're super well done.
And who is this again?
This is Team Fly Halo. It's called Freestyle 101. And it's done by Shane Denherter.
Awesome. It'll get some more views now, hopefully. I know I'll be one of them.
That was awesome. And then, I mean, you just want to work into it, like, really slowly. Don't let anything get too big too fast. Like, just don't rush anything. And you'll notice that, like, as you practice stuff, things just start getting ever so slightly bigger by accident, like, over time,
Absolutely. Panel, any other questions?
Yeah, I got one. It's on a little different note. When you're thermaling, oh, by the way, I loved your videos on thermaling. I'm really enjoying those because I really want to do that. But I'm really concerned about losing prime. I go up and it seems my motor loses prime within about 5 or 10 minutes. And I want to be able to start my engine. So I'm wondering what you do to prevent it from losing prime.
I mean, I don't really have that problem on my Moster, but I can reach the primer bulb behind me, and even if you don't push the button, you can get a little teeny bit of fuel in, and it helps. So I don't know. I haven't really had that issue too much.
So
I don't have a
you can,
bulb, so I'll have to put that on.
I think
You
a
can
little
always
trick.
just-
Go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say a little trick.
No.
I think is pull your throttle to full stick and pull the cord a couple times, and that'll dump some fuel into the carb, and at least help you get some more fuel into the system.
Yeah, real shit. That works.
So
Or
then I got
or
another
or
question.
remount the primer bulb to someplace you can reach it if you have that
Yeah,
option.
if you can't reach it, it works good. You can always leave it idling until you like get confidently in the thermal. That's usually what I do. Until I'm like going up 100% and have like a solid thermal, I don't shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Jim, on that, you may want to look to make sure that you are not losing, you don't have a leak between your bulb and your silicone line, because somewhere you should not be losing prime in 5 minutes.
Yeah, you shouldn't. That's really fast.
Okay.
I can go out like an hour later and pull it on the first pop and
Yeah.
it'll fire right up. So you may have something else there.
What engine are you on, Jim?
Monster 185.
So there's an internal, like a one-way valve on that priming bulb that comes with it that degrades over time. You might want to look into replacing your primer bulb.
I actually don't even have a primer bulb. I have to blow.
Oh, well, get a primer bulb, mount it right behind your kidney, and problem
That's
solved.
tradition with the old motors. It's so traditional, blowing your motor. Yeah. Yeah, I'd put a primer bulb on it, dude. They're super cheap, and if you can reach it, you'll be able to get fuel in. It'll start.
Sounds good. I'll do that tomorrow.
Awesome. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah. What do you do? Let's say you lose prime. You got to land. You don't know the area. What do you do to determine a wind direction?
I just look for-
indication.
I just look
I'm sorry.
for wind indicators. Sometimes you gotta accept a downwind landing. If I'm thermaling, you're going out in conditions where the winds are switching, and you're gonna have to deal with it. But if you see like a pond or something, or like some smoke, that's always good. Flag. I always keep an eye out, but sometimes you just never know.
Yeah, there are a couple apps out there that you can use, Skyfly High and PPGPS. Those are really good. They keep track of the wind direction and how strong it is too. So if you have a chest mount, and you have your phone there with your GPS or your PPGPS or your Skyfly High, or Fly Sky High, whatever it is, you can always tell which way the wind's going if you have a motor out.
The other thing is, the more difficult it is to tell which way the wind's going, the less it kind of matters. The lighter the wind is, the more, it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit downwind. So if you can't read it from the trees or whatever.
Shane, you're trying to jump in and say something, were you?
What's that?
I thought Shane was trying to jump in and say something. I was going to give you a second.
Oh, I was like 6 times, but I gave up.
Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, somebody in the chat mentioned flying a circle, and I was just thinking, yeah, flying a circle, check your app, all that sounds good, but the question is if you can't crank your engine and you have to make that emergency landing, I don't think you have time to do all that. I mean, if you can look down, see smoke, see which way it's going, maybe.
Well,
But
Depends how high you are. You
Yeah.
can see a lot of stuff from 1,000 feet. And
I'd
that's
always prioritize the landing field and safety. Like, I'd rather land in a really nice grass field ever so slightly downwind than like trying to squeak it into some super nasty little thing, into the wind. So
That's a good point.
absolutely, yeah.
yeah. Move
Speaking-
right along. Let's go.
Speaking of landing, I was wondering how many times did you have to land out yourself? I mean, you had a couple of motor outs, right, where you had to land or gas outs?
Yeah. I had on my 3rd and 4th flight, gas related incidents, where my engine ran out of gas and I landed in a field. As of course is tradition on your 2nd and 3rd flight or whatever. But then I had my day start on one time and it killed my engine and I had to land out, turn it off, and then take back off. And then rather recently, I had a coil go bad and it shut my engine down, so I had to land out for that and get picked up. But 1, 2, 3, 4 times, I think I've had like a catastrophic engine out now. So not that many.
And when you do have those engine outs, you have no problem landing, and you never got like in a tree or anything, right?
No, one one of them I landed in the smallest field I've ever landed in, and it was like kind of scary, but I pulled it off. But no, I haven't landed in a tree just yet.
Yes. Let's hope never, man.
Yeah, let's hope never.
Where's the sketchiest place you have had to land?
I hope if I do it, it's paragliding, and it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know? But
Well, when I flew with you at Jersey Shore a couple weeks ago, somebody landed in corn. That's the first corn landing I saw.
oh yeah, they were having some serious fear of the colonel that day. But I don't know. I guess they went out and picked them up. I just flew by on a tandem and then never really heard anything about it. But I guess the guy landed in the corn, got his gear out, and they got him picked up on the side by side.
Oh yeah, yeah. I flew over the same spot like 5 days later when I came back, and most of that corn was standing up where he landed. So did hardly any damage to the crop at all. But no damage to the equipment at all. Not any damage to him or the equipment. He
Wow,
flew.
how resilient.
Yeah. Yeah, I was flying around. I just looked at, hey, there's a wing across the top of that corn. How about that? Got a little video.
That's funny.
Hey, Judson, a quick question. You did the video with Tucker going to McDonald's, didn't you? Just now?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have it edited and done, and next Monday that'll probably come out.
Yeah. I saw Tucker's. Now, I was just going to ask you, did you end up with sauce over you in flight?
No, I actually went for the crispy chicken sandwich, which did not require sauce.
Okay.
It was an excellent experience.
I know someone else got the nuggets with sauce, so I was just wondering whether you were the one to wear the sauce as well as Tucker.
That was my buddy Joshua from New Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah, he got the sauce. He thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was a good good vlog with people in the shop, and they all come out and watched you and so on, and people come to the field to see you take off. So that was good, I thought.
Yeah, it was a really fun flight. I just, especially when you do it with friends, it like adds this whole element of like there's other people involved.
Yeah. No, good on you, mate.
Thank you. I'm loving all these questions. Who else have we got?
We love you, Judson.
I got one for you. Let's see.
I love you too.
Let me see. This is number 8 on my list. Who's your favorite YouTube personality?
Who's my favorite YouTube personality?
Paramotor related.
Oh, paramotor related. I don't want to offend anyone, but I got to give it to Tucker because he's my boy.
Oh, yeah.
Longer than anyone.
I figured that was the answer, hands down. I mean,
Yeah.
He got you into the sport. I mean, he's one of the biggest YouTube personalities that we know. So,
Yeah,
in sport.
Honestly, Ryan Southwell makes the best paramotor videos, though. Like in terms of storytelling and filmmaking, like that dude's got it so dialed. He is incomprehensibly talented to me.
Judson, what about that Sean Simons bloke? Where do you rate him?
Who?
I think his name's Sean Simons. I think he runs that ClearPropTV.
I didn't know he made videos.
I didn't hear you the first time. I mean, he's on the list for sure.
Somewhere on the list, Sean.
Hey, so Judson, you started out probably. What was your first wing that you first flew?
I soloed on a Mojo Power 22 meter, so the extra small.
Which is like a solid beginner wing, a great wing. How do you know? you've obviously progressed to, some pretty aggressive gliders. How do you know when it's time to move on to the next step?
That's a tricky question because
That's a
you
good
can
question.
fly mojo, you can fly your mojo for your whole career, but I would say as you progress, you probably don't want an A-wing forever because you want to be able to go faster and like keep up with people. But I would recommend like most people stay on a B-rated glider, until they get to that point where they feel like they're maxing out the potential of the glider, and they are, they're feeling the limits of what it's capable of and are looking for more. And you'll know when you're there for sure. You'll be like, I would like to do this, but this wing does not allow it. But the real thing I want people to take away from it is you can barrel roll a mojo. You can do anything you can do on these little spicy attack napkins that you can do, on a spider or something like that. So it's really all about like learning proper technique and energy management first and foremost before you start looking at hotter gliders. But I just say, yeah, when you kind of like max out the potential of the glider and feel like you want more, then it's time to go down a size and up a class.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
I
would be
feel like
your, sorry, JP, what would be your top 2 B gliders?
B gliders. There's so many good ones, honestly, right now. If you're looking at non-reflex stuff, the Jin Vantage is super awesome. The Ozone Kona 2 is super awesome. And then if you want to look into reflex gliders, the Spider's obviously a great choice. And the Roadster is the same as the Spider, it's just heavier fabric. I liked the Luna 2 when I flew it. It was, it's an interesting glider because the lines are a little bit longer, but it's not as efficient as the Spider. I haven't flown the Charger 2 yet. I'd like to give that a whirl, but and the Nivea Link, I flew that, or the Link 2. That's a pretty solid one as well. Those would be my recommendations.
Yeah.
What's your go-to wing? If you had any wing available to you at any time and any size, what's the Swiss Army wing that does it all for you?
Like if I could only have one, I would probably regret this sometimes, but not most of the time. And I'm going to give that to the Viper 5 16-meter. That we just got it, and it's unreal. It's so efficient. I don't know. It's just so efficient. It's very fast. It can be very slow, and it just does everything really, really well. They've made some massive improvements to the way it handles turbulence. It's ever so slightly more responsive than the 4, but really where it's become incredibly more impressive is just how much dang lift they squeaked out of it. It's unreal. Like when you trim it in all the way, it feels like a paragliding wing. You just don't come out of the sky.
Judson, do you look at the conditions? Like, let's say if you're at sea level or you're at 5,000 feet, does that determine your wing that you'll take out?
Not necessarily. I haven't really done any high altitude flying, but I will check the density altitude occasionally. But I think just at my weight, it doesn't matter too much. I don't want to be like that, but it's like my motor makes as much thrust as me and the motorway, basically. So I was climbing on the Viper at 1,005 feet per minute at a 2,900 foot density altitude the other day. So
Wow. Wow. That's brilliant.
1,000 feet
Some
per
people out
minute.
there that don't know, is that a high climb rate?
it's pretty high. It's like better than most small airplanes.
Yeah.
Almost like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Jim,
what's that?
sorry, I didn't want to change topics. If you want to touch on that one a little bit more, but Jim has some questions about you and Paradigm. If we want to move on to that.
Yeah, we're moving right along to Paradigm. Ask me Paradigm questions.
All right. So Jim's question is, what's it like being part of the Paradigm team? What was it like learning the maneuvers and doing the practice, seeing the crowd's response, and what was it like flying at night?
Well, joining the team was really special for me because one of the earlier paramotor videos I watched was like the feature-length documentary about the team going to Oshkosh. So I always wanted to be on the team, and it was really, really special when they accepted me to it. But realistically, the flying is more about timing. Like the maneuvers and the formation stuff isn't that hard. It's more of like a timing and speed matching thing. But flying at night is pretty weird. You don't have a horizon, so maneuvers kind of feel like you're doing them in a void. And you need somebody to call your exits. Like when you're doing a stat, you have no idea where the ground is. It's just all black. So we have somebody on the radio telling us when to exit. And then landing is kind of weird because you can't see the ground until you're about 8 feet from it because those lights start to light it up. But you're kind of just like going into this void. And then I think the best part of Paradigm is like getting people genuinely excited about paramotors. Like Sun and Fun was the biggest show I've flown, and like everyone turned their phone flashlights on when we did our stack pass, and it was just incredible. And then we got to walk up and down the flight line with our paramotors on and like say hi to people and high five them. And you know, I just like that interactive part of it where people get to go up to the pilot and say hi right after they land. But it's a pretty cool thing to be a part of. I just wish we had a sponsor and more shows.
So do you need a waiver from the FAA to fly at night?
Yeah, so pretty much any air show you do is under a TFR for the air show, so pretty much no rules apply. I mean, there's rules that apply, obviously, for the air show, but, like, we can fly our paramotors after sunset. It's fine. You are in waivered airspace.
Interesting.
So, I can
I have
say
a
I flew in
question.
TFR. Yeah, what's your question?
Hi, Judson. This is Jade from Wisconsin. What kind of lights do they use on the hoops with the Paradigm team? Some type of LED?
That's a Ross question. I mean, it's like a 4S LiPo, and the brightest hoop lights you can get, or the brightest like strip lights you can get, daylight balance. And I mean, they're amazing. You feel so special when you fly with them because you're glowing. I don't know the specifics. You have to reach out to Ross on that one. But
Okay.
they're freaking bright. They're freaking bright is all I can tell you.
Yeah, we can tell that definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. What else we got?
Does that ever give you any issues having such a bright light in your peripheral and then messing up your depth perception?
No. Sometimes if you look right at it, it'll mess up your night vision, but they're on the outside of the hoops, so you're really not looking at them at all. So on the carbon hoop of the Scout, it was actually really nice because they did not go in your face at all. But now that I have the Enduro, they're a little bit easier to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got Reese's Big Adventure in the chat. wants Justin to talk about the chance to speak with kids during the Paradigm show this past weekend. He's asked about that a couple times. So sounds like he had a pretty cool experience there.
Oh my gosh, is that Reese the Quinn? Yeah, so we had the opportunity in Pennsylvania to go speak to like kind of do an assembly for some elementary schools and do a small paramotor demo, and it was really rewarding. Like, I was kind of weird. Like when I was in school, I wanted to be up in front of people and like be able to teach stuff. So it was really cool to be able to give back to people and get kids excited about flying. So, you know, AJ did some flying at each one of the schools. The last one we actually flew in to, and that was really cool. But to see kids at such a young age, like so genuinely excited about aviation, like really made me happy. So I think it was mission accomplished. It was super cool. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, Judson, is, you know, people like Aviator and that, you know, good training schools to approach kids at a young age and bed into them that, you know, get proper training. I think that's most important.
The other thing, so from my perspective, when I was younger, I didn't view aviation as something attainable. And like beyond the scope of paramotor, the country and the world as a whole needs pilots. And I want to encourage people and allow people to be aware that like aviation is something that is accessible to everyone. It's not just reserved for like the rich and famous. You can go out and do it. So that's something I do want to promote.
I agree with you. It's definitely attainable for pretty much anybody that wants to fly.
Yeah, if you want to fly, you'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Panel, any other questions, or are there any other questions in the chat?
Any other questions?
Let's see. So your girlfriend, can I talk about her?
Yeah, she's probably watching. Jill, if you're down there, comment.
So was she into paramotors before y'all met, or did obviously you were into them and she got into it because of you, or she, you know, how'd that go?
So yeah, she didn't really know what a paramotor was before I was dating her. We've been together for like 2.5 years now, so get that out of the way. But basically, from my perspective, I never want to see somebody push their significant other into the sport. I believe that if they want to do it, they can do it on their own, and you can be there to guide them in the right direction and support them. But I never want to like force somebody to do it. But I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, she saw Ryan Southwell's video from flying in Iceland, and it really just kind of struck a chord in her, and she was like, yeah, I want to do this now. So, you know, we talked about it more at length, and she was like trying to figure out how to afford training and stuff. And so in January of 2021, we gifted her training in Denellen. So I got to train her to fly with Micah Stevens up in Denellen, and it was really cool.
That's awesome.
And yeah, she's definitely taken to the sport. She has a natural aptitude for it, and you know, she's genuinely passionate about it, which is what I was hoping for. And what's really like special to me beyond her flying is she will go fly without me, and is, you know, completely self-supporting and can do it on her own, and, you know, thinks about everything very methodically. But it's just really cool to, like, you know, leave home, go to work while she's still sleeping, and then an hour later see her blast off across the field, like, on her own. Like, that's super cool, because that means to me that, like, she wants to do this for herself and not just because of me. Like, that's what it's about for me.
Yeah, we were flying around at Jersey Shore. I mean, she was following you around everywhere. Now, she wasn't doing big, massive wing overs and stuff like you were, but she, you know, she looked like she'd been flying for a while. She was flying low around the corn and stuff, and looked like she had quite a bit of experience. So
Yeah. She's getting up there. I know she has a spider on order, but she's just been progressing, trying to get more hours, and then just slowly working into the more advanced stuff. Like, one day I was just looking down the runway, and there goes Jill doing a foot drag, and I'm like, okay, get to do those now. That's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's awesome.
Good.
She just got a haircut.
Judson,
It looks super awesome. Yes.
did you go to Iceland with Tucker? Have you been to Iceland?
No, it's on the list of things I really, really want to do, but I haven't been yet.
Yeah, I think those videos Tucker done and Scout Paramotor of Iceland, it's fascinating territory, and it's almost like a moonscape, you know. Apart from
I really can't wait to.
apart from the glaciers and flying through the canyons, you know, but the moonscape type ground and stuff, yeah, looks fascinating. And of course, apart from a paramotor, I don't think anyone's been up there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, it's skies untouched. Like, no one's been here. I'm really excited to see what Ryan does. I know he just came back and he has a ton of footage shot in 6K on like a super nice camera. So it's going to look amazing. I'm sure he'll tell a beautiful story with it. What else we got?
Awesome.
Well, it looks like we got a question in the chat from Jim CR120. Says, are there any particular improvements you'd like to see out of the new interns?
Any particular improvement?
Any particular intern?
I would, okay, if you want to be like a superstar, get Audible and listen to Extreme Ownership. It's by Jocko Willink, because it's all about team building and how to work as a team and be an effective leader for a team. And all we do at Aviator is work it's teamwork, and it's teams of teams working together towards one common goal. So read that book. Otherwise, just show up on time. Don't interject during lectures like a ton. Unless it's like a super good point, then by all means bring it up. Other than that, you know, just show up on time and be helpful. That's it.
And what was the book called again?
Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. It's really cool. It tells stories about the Navy SEALs in Iraq and how they work together with other units and other branches of the military and other militaries entirely, and then applies those concepts to a business setting and a leadership in business environment. And it really changed my perspective on how to work as a team and how to be an effective leader amongst people. It's really good.
Interesting. Looks like Bill H also has a question for you. Has the team ever thought about showing up at small fly-ins?
Has what?
Has the team ever thought about showing up at small fly-ins?
the aviator team. Yeah, it's just really hard to get everyone together at the same time. So we could for sure send like 3 or 4 people out in the van or whatever, but it's like we do rolling classes, so there's always people working, so you basically can't get everyone together in one spot. But yeah, I'd like to go to a lot more small fly-ins. You know, if they're willing to support it, I'll do a lot more travel for them as well, and just, you know, go out and bring equipment and, you know, spread the love. Like, I'm not trying to sell anything, but if people, you know, I'll load a van full of friggin' wings, and if people want to fly them, they can have at it.
Heck yeah.
I
Heck
just
of a
love
deal.
the community. I love the community and want to get out there and like interact with people. It's awesome. So, yeah. What else you got? I'm really liking the questions, but if you want me to talk more at length about anything in particular, like I'll do that, dude.
Well, I got not a question. I got a statement. There's some girl in here named Jillian. Don't know who this is. Says there's absolute luck that Judson came into my life and introduced me to paramotors. I'm in love with it, and it has changed my life. Getting to do it with Justin is added bonus, and he is the best. So, do you know this girl?
No. You want my number? I'm gonna slip roll that. I'll just, like, if she wants to give me your number, we'll text, we'll send some memes, maybe comment on the Instagram, and just kind of get the ball rolling nice and slow, and then we'll go on from there. But you know.
Oh shit. Hang on.
I guess I have a secret admirer.
So we got someone in the chat wants to know, how does Judson do barrel rolls so slow? Tucker Gott needs to know how to do a slow roll.
How to do a slow roll?
Yeah.
Well, number one, if you're trying to do a slow roll, I'd get in touch with Chris Byler because he's the king of the slow roll. But in terms of paramotor slow rolls, Chris is a pro with the women, not with the paramotor slow rolls just yet. But Viper 5, 125 pounds, Moster 185, time it late, don't be a little bitch. And you got to get the bottom part of the mustache. You only have half. Once you get the bottom going, oh yeah.
Or just complete it and have like a goater or something. That's
Hi,
awesome.
Tucker.
What's up, Tucker?
Hi, tell Kitten hi. And then she hates me. Tucker's cat hates me. I get attacked every time.
Who had the mow first, you or Tucker?
Who had what?
Who had the mow, you or Tucker first?
Oh, I did it a year ago. I was first to this party and then got rid of it, and then he did it, but he did it better. I don't know. He looks like he's in the Navy now. He looks like a Navy pilot. He should be a Blue Angel.
I was alive in the 80s, and he would definitely blend in the 80s, that's for sure. Any other questions in the panel?
I got one more. You know, I've kind of watched your progression in the sport, and I've been, it's been incredible to see what you've done in a short period of time. And, you know, you're only 20 years old and you're on the Paradigm team. You know, you got this incredible list of achievements under your belt at this point. Where do you see yourself in 10 years, man? I mean, where would you like to be? Where would you like to see the sport?
Well, right now I'm pretty satisfied with like how far I've come. It's like incredible, but 10 years from now, I don't know. I'm getting the van. I'd really like to see the YouTube pickup. If I could do that full time and be self-supporting through my lifestyle, that would be the ultimate goal. But I would like to have a house on an airport and get my private pilot's license and also do plane stuff. kind of the long-term goal. Get more into general aviation, and still do a lot of travel, but also have like a home base on an airport. So that's where I think it's going.
There seems to be a lot of houses that have the grass strip right down the middle. There's a lot of neighborhoods that actually have something like that. Not actually like an actual paved runway, but just grass strips that people can use. Is that something that you're thinking about, or something that actually has like an actual runway?
Oh, I mean, grass strips are fine. You can land most planes on them. And I'd probably want to get into the bush flying more, so it'd be fine. But one of those like real small little, you know, absolutely vacant airports would be ideal. And then I know I want one of them bat wing mowers. Those look so fun. And I want to like go up and down the runway every week and get it like a golf course, so I could do 6-foot drag and like take off a plane.
So you want to own a Hodges Field, Bad Apples?
Oh, that's a little too much, but Hodges Field is amazing. I'm just really in it for like the lawnmower thing. Those things seem awesome.
Hey guys, real quick, can we get a group shot for the thumbnail?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Perfect.
Put my foot in it.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Judson, you're getting a new van, right?
New to me. Yeah.
New van. You got, and what are you selling? You selling your old camper, or?
Y'all, if you're interested in a camper, I'm your guy. I got a 22-foot Starcraft for sale, $8,500, first come, first serve. But yeah, if anyone knows of Ross on the go, Ross Castaway, aka Sparky, aka Creepy Uncle Ross, aka Roscoe, he's on his second camper van. It's like the ultimate camper van build, but he has his first one for sale, and I'm buying it from him as of today, apparently. So,
Oh man.
I'm really genuinely excited about that, because I got a camper with the expectation of taking it like all over the place, but anyone who's traveled with a camper knows it's like a huge pain, and so like just to do it for a week. So having the van is just going to allow me so much more freedom and flexibility to get out and see more things, see more people, and make more content about flying like in other spots. So I'm just excited for the freedom.
Right on.
And then spoiler alert, we're going out west this October. So get ready for that.
Awesome.
Nice. So
I've
is
never
this
been.
is this van? Is this one of these infamous Roadmaster vans that people keep talking about down at Aviator?
The Home Master?
You gotta be single, have a Roadmaster, have an Apple, and live in a van down by the river to work there, right?
Yeah, that is how it be. Apparently, I've just kind of fallen into that trap, but you know, it's a good thing. Apple takes great photos in the air. The ProMaster is the preferred van for van lifing, as you can sleep horizontal, and you blend right in a paramotor flying. I'm so excited about it, like more than any other camper. Whoa, I just did a huge bump. I'm so excited.
Well, it's the same one that it's the same one that Ross had at the Bad Apples flying, right?
This year?
Yeah.
No, that is the ProMaster 2.0. I'm getting 1.0.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was his brand new van. Yeah,
Okay.
that he had at Bad Apples.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a little bit smaller, but it's, you know, it's Ross build quality. I was thinking about buying an empty van and doing the build out, but I mean that dude's got the craftsmanship on lock. It's nothing I could ever compete with. Like him and AJ are like incredibly skilled craftsmen. So I just left it to them. They did a great job. So. Yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of that. I got the chicken camera. Do you know why it's called a chicken camera?
Mm-mm.
Well, have you ever seen a chicken's head?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the gimbal.
Yeah, the
I
gimbal's
like
where
it.
it's at, dude. The DJI Ronin. I've been documenting that. I had to be, you know, it was a really fun experience going to a dealership. And being, they were trying to van and they didn't know that I knew Ross. And he was telling me all about Ross, and I'm like, yeah, I've actually been with him for the past 7 weeks, so I got this understood.
That's funny.
What else
Speaking
do
of
we
your
want to talk about? Oh,
speaking of your
What's up?
camera, dude. Speaking of your camera, I've been following your channel for a little while, and it seems like the last couple weeks, couple months, the quality of the video, the quality of audio, the editing, everything has just gone way up, and I want to give you props for that. It looks real good.
Appreciate that. I've just tried to like go for a more watchable approach, but I think the biggest jump in quality was going to the Fujifilm X-T3 for the main video camera. It's just super good at being a camera, and I really like Fujifilm's color science. It just looks so good. It's what Trent Palmer shoots on, so that's how you get those colors.
What's the
But thanks
battery
for
life?
actually reading that.
What's the
What's
battery
that?
time on the, what's the battery time on that, Judson?
The X-T3,
Yeah.
it's pretty poor. It's probably like an hour. But you can recharge it by USB-C, so I just plug it in at night. Don't even have to take it out.
Yeah.
That's not a camera you're flying with, right? You use that for.
I would like to fly with it at some point, but no, I'm flying
Okay.
with a DJI Osmo Action right now. It's like a GoPro.
How do you find the
But
action?
yeah,
How do you find that DJI action, Judson, compared to?
the GoPro, it's okay. The video looks good from it, but my biggest complaint is the camera's not wide enough. It's a little bit more narrow than the GoPro, but the stabilization's really good. The
Yeah.
colors are decent. It hasn't crashed on me yet. I've had GoPros crash on me a bunch, so it's been really solid. It's a good choice.
What other DJI cameras do you use? Do you use the Pocket or anything like that?
No,
Huh.
my gimbal is a DJI Ronin. Oh, sorry, Google's giving me directions. It's telling me to stay on the highway. I know. The gimbal I shoot with is a DJI Ronin SC. But I don't have any other Fujifilm cameras right now. I want to get a drone at some point, so I'll probably get a Mavic. But I'm thinking of just getting a couple more GoPros for additional angles. I don't know. They're all just tools. I like Fujifilm. That's my brand.
And what do you use to edit all your videos? Since we're talking about videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I use DaVinci Resolve. It's a free program, and it's just as capable as any of the other ones. And it, in fact, has a better color grading suite than most editing software. So DaVinci Resolve, I have yet to run into something on the free version that I can't do, so I'd recommend that.
And what was the name of that again? I couldn't quite hear it.
DaVinci Resolve 17. It's free. There's
And
a
that's
paid version.
DaVinci, and that's on Windows or Mac?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fully featured editing program. There is no fluff. It's hardcore, but it works. And there's a lot of YouTube support for it. There's like a bunch of dedicated channels that explain how to do stuff. So I've just learned it by YouTube.
Might have to take a look at that. Looks like Stephen Goodpaster in the chat said, is your unit or the Paradigm team using Aviator's EFI, or is everyone back to stock carbs?
Yeah, nobody's running the EFI. I've only seen one EFI system in the wild, and whose was that? Oh my gosh. Brian Horton has one, I think.
Have you ever flown with one?
No, I haven't. I hear it's really good though. But yeah, no, we're all just running the stock carburetor.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions out there, panel?
That's the last one I saw in the chat recently.
Awesome.
David,
What do we want to talk about?
David Taylor says, does Judson have a fear of the Colonel?
Yeah.
Well, planning are something that needs to be taken very serious by all pilots. As you know, traditionally they are the most frustrating way to land a powered paraglider. But I do believe that Dave Taylor has some fear of the Colonel more so than I. But that is some serious business that needs to be covered more in depth. Moving right along here.
What's the Colonel, guys? That's over my head. What is it?
We made a joke video about landing in corn.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think we're losing you a little bit, Judson. I don't think we heard that last part. What was it?
Hold on. Give me just a second. I'm going to turn Google off so it stops telling me where to go. I'm coming. Can you hear me again?
I can hear you fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you in Florida yet?
No, I'm in Georgia. No, I was saying we did a spoof video about landing in corn, and it was based off of the Team Fly Halo Project water landing video, the trailer. But it was really just kind of a joke, and it was funny to me. But check that out.
I'd say it'd be a little bit painful.
Yeah, from everything I've heard, it's really not that bad. It's just really irritating to get the wing out.
Yeah.
Irritating. Love it.
Yeah, it's really irritating.
That was good.
So I think in the background, JP's going to start showing some of your social media stuff here in a second. But was there anything else that you wanted to touch on tonight as far as paramotoring, or what would you tell somebody that was young and interested in getting into the sport?
Well, so first and foremost, obviously get proper training, but I just want people to know that it is attainable easily if you save up, and that they should seek quality training and fly quality gear. I don't care what you fly. I just care that it's not a piece of garbage from the early 2000s. I would also say that, paramotor and FAR Part 103 as a whole is self-regulating by nature. It's like what is it? Self-supporting through its own contributions or whatever. And all pilots are responsible for the future of paramotor and our freedom in the U.S. A lot of other countries have a lot more strict laws. So it's up to every single one of you guys to, not be a dick and be like a responsible paramotor pilot. Just take the extra minute to explain your paramotor for the 1,000th time to the dude at the gas station. Oh, y'all want to watch Pump It Up? Let's get that on the screen. This was the last night of Balloon Fest. That's our lead instructor AJ right there, pumping it up, pumping the jam.
Is that a video you can play, JP? Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, here we go. One wheel chairs.
Can you hear the music? It only makes sense to music.
Yeah, I recognize. All right. So we got
Dave Taylor dancing on a one wheel.
Yep, we got Dave, we got Jill. I think I saw Josh riding the chair.
Josh always brings the party. Yeah, so there's this song, it's called Pump Up the Jam, and it goes a little bit like pump up the jam, pump it up. And
Oh yeah, we know it.
It started with me holding some jam in my hand and like pumping it up like a jack. And then it escalated throughout the night until we were riding with 16 one-wheels down the street blasting that song.
So was there any races, official one-wheel chair races at Balloon Fest this year?
No, but I want to see a Brian Waller versus Josh McGee one-wheel race because Josh is hard to keep up with on the chair.
I've already had Derek Trout outrun me a couple times, so I'm not that fast.
Hey, how fast do the one wheels go real quick for reference?
What's that?
What's the fastest speed on those one wheels?
It depends on how big your balls are.
Realistically, safely is 16 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you get past that and you're pushing it.
Yeah, there's people that clock like 22, 23 miles an hour on these things trying to get to top speed.
No, if you fall at that speed though, like it hurts. It hurts.
Johnson's got some bigger batteries than his, and they go up to like 20 miles an hour.
That's a pretty sick video, man.
This is one of my favorites right here.
Oh, when you just look at that. Oh, I love this.
Oh, this was another question I have. Have you ever flown a paramotor while riding a one wheel? I know the answer because you did it on mine, but have you ever done a forward or reverse launch from a stop on a one wheel completely?
Yeah, the other day I literally put the paramotor on, got on the one wheel, went out to the field, laid out the wing, started the motor all on the one wheel, and then took off in a reverse launch from the one wheel without getting off of it. Reverse,
okay. I can see a reverse.
I don't think a forward would work. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you don't see behind that is like dozens of hours of me looking like an idiot, one wheel kiting across the field. I trained for that. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about is like, hey, you want to get good paramotoring, you have to put the hours in. There's no shortcut.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark George in the chat. He dropped $10 in the chat. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Appreciate you, buddy.
Mark.
Awesome.
Hey, for the people that are listening to the podcast on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on iTunes and other platforms, what are we watching real quick, JP?
We are on Judson's Instagram channel at Judson, JUDSONBAERNT. His it'll say Judson Graham. So
Hey Judson, how much time do you put in a day flying?
It depends on the day. I put 0 hours in today.
Okay, so how about like a weekly average?
I would say an aviator, like maybe. I'd have to do the math. It's so hard to keep track of my flights as an instructor because they're all short. Like, it's super rare for me to go out on like an hour-long flight now. But I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 hours a week. A fair bit.
Cool. Thanks.
I just got the new Scout harness, which doesn't hurt my back, so I'm gonna do some more cross countries. But the other one I couldn't really sit in comfortably for more than like 45 minutes.
Judson, have you worked out, I saw on the last video, have you worked out how to carry a one wheel with you on your flights?
No, I certainly could put one in the front seat of a trike, but
Yeah.
no, I have not.
Could you
That's pretty-
reckon you could strap one underneath, like underneath your seat?
Unlikely because you couldn't get the seat to fold down, but perhaps.
Yep.
I don't know where you'd put it really. I think you'd have to do it on a trike.
Yeah.
Hey, Ken Stamey in the chat asked, does Judson have his wing inspected more frequently than normal with all the acro? That's a good question. I'd like to know that answer too. How often do you get your wings inspected?
Honestly, I've never had a wing inspected.
Well, how long do you normally keep a wing then?
I haven't really kept one until it was completely worn out, but my last free ride 15 got like really hard to launch, so I started flying a different one. But I would say like, I don't know, a wing should last me the same amount of time as they lasted Tucker. So like if you look at the timeline of his red, white, and blue wing, you know, that's like an average life expectancy. That wing is still being flown by my buddy Dan, and it's still in pretty good shape, but they just get a little bit kind of ragged and harder to launch after a while. But I don't know, like 3 years.
Wow, after a year, I put on about 300 on the Roadster, and when I sent it in, they failed it. I mean, I was still flying it, but they failed it because they said the lines were stretched with all the different acro I was doing and the couple of SIV courses I went to. So interesting.
Yeah.
So yours lasted for 3 years, never got inspected, and you just decided to get a new wing when you couldn't launch it?
No, I only had that one for about a year, but it just got really hard to launch. I put a new line set on it, and that fixed everything. But I don't know. I haven't really had a wing for over a year yet, so I can't really tell you.
I think it's probably important to note that Judson's probably a little bit lighter than the average pilot too.
That is true. I'm a little bit heavier than him. Plus, I fly the Angel, which is a lot heavier than what he flies.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So
I don't
as Swanee, I might have released a balloon or two, and some paramotor pilots swooped in there to get them. I believe Judson might have been one of them. So I've seen you do a few things, and I was just wondering what's the coolest thing you've ever caught in your paramotor that somebody threw to you?
Oh, well, 100% hands down. Dan caught a Mylar balloon one day, and we were like throwing it between each other and catching it for a solid 10-15 minutes one day.
Oh, that's cool.
What?
Yeah, so like somebody would throw it, and then somebody would swoop behind and grab it, and then they'd jump behind them and they'd toss it out and then grab it. I mean, we must have done it 10 times, and then it went through Tucker's prop and exploded. It was really fun.
That's awesome.
I've had one go through my prop and they make a nice, it's a big boom. At least it was for me.
We're going to have to definitely do that next, I think.
That sounds
So
awesome.
why does it take Tucker to wreck everything?
I know, right? Hey, David Nickerson also said is in the chat said Justin's the only person I know who has replaced every line on his glider. So, replacing lines, would you recommend that for anybody, or how much training have you done to actually, change out your lines?
It's not that hard. You just need to be organized and have the line set and 4 friends or 3 friends. If your glider passes the inspection for the fabric, but the lines fail, you can buy a new line set for it and install it. Everything comes labeled from the factory, and you just have to, make sure everything goes in the right spot and then kite it before you fly it. And it takes about 3 hours. It's not a huge deal.
Speaking of kiting, David Nickerson was talking about you and kiting. It says, I've not seen anybody practice kiting as dedicated as Judson. He's a beast with deliberate practice. Ground handling is a skill that he really cranks on inspirationally, often in the trashiest air. Be like Judson, deliberate practice.
Yeah. I kite because I genuinely find it like super fun. However, I also feel that kiting is, the framework to all of your flying, because you understand so much of the glider dynamic from having it get messed up on the ground. And then just kind of understanding and getting super in tune with being able to use as minimal input to get the maximum result. I don't know. If you kite a lot, you're a really good pilot. And every pilot you see who's out there kiting at least has really good launches. But yeah, just kite. It's just get out there and do it. Like I never kite in any wind that I can't stand still and or move backwards in because I'm overrunning. But like if the conditions aren't pliable, get a wing out and kite it. Like go get a Roadrunner. Seriously, those things are freaking thebomb.com. They're awesome. Or any kiting wing. Don't something small and go out when it's strong and play with it. It's just fun.
How long have you, so you have one of those, right? And how long have you had it?
I just borrow them from Aviator. I don't own one personally. But when I was learning to fly, my buddy Jeff lent me like a 16-meter speed wing to kite. And I just went and kited it like whenever it was windy at the park. I was just down there doing it. It just creates all of these natural instincts. Mike Brown likes to call it the paranomic reflex for active piloting, for collapse recovery, for inflation, all of that. It just makes you better. I would just recommend kiting as much as possible, personally.
Judson, quick question, Walter here. I built my own trike here in Australia, and it weighs in at over 850 pounds with me and fuel in it. What's your thoughts on trikes? I notice you've transitioned to trikes lately. What do you feel about them?
I think they are awesome. Like, I don't think anyone should hate on a trike or shame anyone for flying a trike. And I just view them as another discipline of the sport. They're really useful for tandem. Tandem wheel launch is objectively safer, easier, and more repeatable than wheel launch or than foot launch tandem. They're awesome for no wind. They're a really great tool to like have fun ground handling, like learning trike control on the ground. And they can get you in the air if you have an injury or you can't foot launch. I just think they're like a great thing that exists that you can get into However, I think a lot of people flying trike should have a lot more training on flying their trike if anyone's ever been to a fly-in.
Yeah.
But they're awesome. They're just, I don't know, every time I fly one, it's just a blast.
Yeah,
pretty
trikes are awesome. I agree.
I'm pretty sure for some reason a lot of people think that fly-ins are the great opportunity to have their first flight or train how to fly at a fly-in. You see so many accidents, and it's just not a good idea.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
definitely not. I also think too, a lot of the fly-ins say no first flights, no first solos on
They
their
should. Yeah, if they don't.
on the ones I went to. Whitney Horkey in the chat said, "Would you say your summer on the road exceeded expectations?"
Ever so slightly exceeded expectations. We have a lot of inside jokes. That was an inside joke. Yes, but it did. We had a Russian student, and he was very reserved at the beginning, and he eventually opened up with us. But the first day he towed, we're like, "Hey man, how was towing?" And he's in this very thick Russian accent. He's like, "It slightly exceeded my expectations." And then when he soloed, he was like, "We're like, how was your solo, Vasily?" And he was like, "It met expectations." It was just the most Russian dude ever. It was so awesome.
You talking about Vasily, I think is the name?
Yeah, Vasily. He made this awesome borscht. We were munched on that for 2 weeks.
Okay. He was an interesting character. I got to hang out with him for a while. I think he pulled a quad or something during training, and he had to sit a couple flights out, but he got back up in the air before I was gone.
Yeah, he did. He crushed it. He was super good. That was a really, really fun class.
So I know you had 2 classes at Jersey Shore. Was that it for your travels this summer, or did you have other classes on top of that?
Yeah, we did one in Vermont.
Okay.
Almost in Canada, and that one was really cool. I haven't been to Vermont since I was 3 years old, and it's a really beautiful state. And it was cold there, and it was awesome.
Judson, are you traveling just for your own benefit, or are you doing training or whatever along the way?
We're doing training along the way. So aviators the past 2 years have done summer travel classes where we go out of state up north somewhere and train in colder weather, relatively. So we had a significant amount of downtime during the whole thing, but I got to go to Oshkosh and everything. But yeah, I'm doing it for aviator.
We got another question in the chat. Mark McElroy from ParaLifePPG.com. And if you don't know, he makes these shirts right here, which are really super nice. He says, do you always fly with the reserve?
He's thinking.
Equipment that does not have reserves on it. However, when I'm out on a personal flight, my personal motor is about to have 2 reserves on it. And I do fly with them, and they're a good thing that exists that you should have.
That's a really good question about the reserve. So there are round reserves and there are steerable reserves. I have a steerable, and that's the only one I have. What do you use, and what would you recommend for people that are out there?
Well, I have 2 square reserves. I believe I have a sub-air fluid and a Jid Yeti cross light. I think the steerable reserve.
Did we lose him?
He may be going in and out of a weak cellular area.
I don't know. It kind of looks like he fell asleep.
Until we get him back, I guess. In the chat and the panel, who flies with the reserve, and what do you have? The square, the round, the steerable, and what do you think about it? When he gets back, I guess we'll talk more about that.
Guess I'll figure that out when I have to throw it one day. I'm not sure. No, I'm just kidding.
So you have a reserve, but you don't know what it is?
No, it's a round reserve.
Okay.
And come November will be my 2 years on it, and a brand new reserve. We didn't get an inspection after the first year. Same thing with my wing. So this fall I'll be doing some inspections, a reserve toss simulation.
Gotcha. You can do it at a.
I know JP's throwing a reserve. Who else on the panel's throwing a reserve?
I threw a reserve at a SIV. JP's the only person I know that threw a reserve, and it wasn't an SIV.
Yeah.
Hey, Judson, you're muted, and turn your phone sideways.
When do you guys decide to start carrying a reserve?
When did you decide to not?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah,
we got you.
we can hear you now.
Awesome. So my philosophy on reserves is during training, I think that they are an unnecessary risk because you're obviously flying under supervision. You're flying under supervision in really good conditions. But I think that once you get out of training and you're a competent pilot and have been trained on how to use a reserve, yeah, it's something you should fly with 100%. And as long as you understand, the risks associated with accidental deployment, then you should be fine.
I take it you're getting gas right now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, we'll let you get gas real quick, and we'll talk more about reserves while you're getting gas.
Enjoy. I'll stay on the chat, but I'm going to go outside for a second.
Absolutely. So Jim was talking about when would be a good time to get a reserve. Of all the people on the panel, what do you think would be a good time to get a reserve?
Yes,
Our
sir.
instructor was the same with what Justin said, that after training, when we were training, it was one less thing that all of his students don't want that on there because he doesn't want them to feel that that's a lifeline.
Right.
So it's one less thing that a student can grab to throw.
And also too, if there's one little bump and they don't understand the bumps, they may feel like, oh, I need to throw because there was a bump, which I understand. Students probably should not carry a reserve. That's one. Yeah, you're right. That's one more thing that could accidentally be pulled out or not double checked or something. So when they're taking off or when they're foot launching, maybe it comes out a little bit. I think I saw a video where somebody was foot launching and their reserve dropped as they were taking off. Did you guys see that one? Yeah. So that's a unnecessary risk, I believe, as far as reserves are concerned. But as soon as you're able to buy one, or as soon as you're able to fly on your own after your solo, what do you guys think?
I bought a brand new unit at Aviator when I trained, and I flew on my unit before I left there, and it had a reserve on it the very first flight. I particularly was not happy with that in training. I was not happy with them not letting me fly with a reserve as a student. But they explained it to me, and in hindsight, it all makes sense. But I was of the thought that I wanted a reserve on my very first flight, just to have that backup. Yeah. But I get it, that AJ and Eric, they explained it to me, Mike Brown, and basically said that all the things that y'all just said. There's, as a student, you may hit a bump, freak out, throw your reserve, cause more problems. And, there's a lot of reasons not to have one. I get it. But, me personally as a student, I wanted that reserve.
Yeah,
that's good. You always fly with the reserve too, right?
Absolutely.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up, bud?
Yeah, basically our philosophy with reserves in training is that we believe, wow, they shut all the lights off. We believe the likelihood of a premature or unintentional deployment is higher than a gear failure or catastrophic collapse or something. So, you know, that's why we do it. I think it was already covered, but, you know, you have to
totally.
be trained. You have to be trained on how to use a reserve, like to have one, you know, it's like carrying a firearm. You have to like have the skills to use it if you're going to have it.
Yeah, and I still don't because I've never thrown one. I mean, I went through the simulator. You know, I was, you know, taught the rules and whatnot on when to do it, when not to. But I mean, I guess until you're ever really in that situation, you're never really prepared. You know, you don't know your limits until you find them.
I would think as soon as you start flying high in altitude, you should have a reserve. But I mean, I don't have one on my trike because we don't need them on PPCs. But in training, you probably wouldn't be above 500 feet, I don't say. Would that be right, Judson?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, so, you know, you got to be really quick if you were flying at that height. You know, anything under 300 feet, you're limited to your reserve coming out. So, you know, but once you start a little bit of high flying or cross country, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're not required to have one either, Walter. But it's one of those things that I think that a lot of us feel, I don't know, safer. I know that when I go up, mine is the front mount, so I can kind of use it on anything that I fly. So that's pretty good. A lot of you guys have the ones that are mounted permanently on your paramotor. Is that correct?
Mm.
Shane, is that correct? You do too? You have yours permanently on your paramotor?
Yes, I duct taped it closed so it wouldn't open, and it's good now. Won't come. It won't come
Zip tied. It'll never come off. Right. Gotcha. Jim, how long have you been flying?
I'm back, by the way.
Okay, Judson.
I've been flying since July 4th, but I'm still in training. And I mean, I did hit 11,106 feet just over the weekend.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. And I said that you beat me because I only went a mile and you doubled that. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
So you went up 2 miles, and how'd you feel? Did the wing feel stable, and did you have any problems?
None. Well, I fly in almost perfect weather. Like
Gotcha.
the wind conditions are, I think the most I've really flown in is 6, maybe a little bit more, 6 miles an hour on the ground. I've flown in a lot higher winds than that up high because they change, but it's always very smooth. I haven't had any real rough flights yet.
Gotcha.
And so I'm still in training, but I was waiting for all my instructor. We were at a fly-in this weekend. I was waiting for everybody to get on the air. I was the first one. Took them 30 minutes to get up. So I decided to go high. And I just kept going until they got up.
Well, that's awesome. But you're in Canada, so it's a little bit different than us over here.
Yeah, those are Canadian feet too. Sean.
Yeah, what's that? What's 2 miles in kilometers? What's that up?
I have no idea because I did it in feet.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
congratulations on that. That was pretty awesome. Paul Marzano in the chat said, do steerable reserves take longer to open? Now, Judson, do you know anything about reserves and which ones open quicker? And what do you know about the reserves?
Yeah, well, the first thing to know is all reserves open really fast, but the steerables don't open any slower than the non-steerables. They're some of them actually open a little bit faster. So yeah, there's really no downside except that they're significantly more expensive.
Yes, definitely. I think What was mine? Mine was over $1,200, I think. It was a steerable. I got the Beamer. But I don't know. I thought that a steerable would be good because if I had to throw, I wouldn't want to land in water or in trees or someplace that, you know, I wouldn't want to be able to land. And I also know too that you can flare and, you know, gently touch down with a steerable, whereas the round and the square, you're going down at what, 5.5 meters a second, which is like jumping off a house, I think.
No, I think it's less than that. I don't think it might be 5.5 feet per second, but 5.5 meters per second is like fast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it'd probably be 5.5 feet a second.
Yeah, from what I hear, it's like jumping off a 4 to 6 foot ledge.
Oh, okay. That doesn't scare me as much now.
No. I don't know. Reserves are a good idea. You should have it and just pre-flight it, and you'll be fine. I've seen, that being said, I've seen one fall out on a launch and hit the prop, and it balled up the entire frame. It was all trapped.
Wow.
Didn't it kill the frame and motor?
Yeah, it bent the frame, it bent the exhaust all the way into the engine. It cut right through the silencer. It bent the bigger pulley on the redrive. It destroyed everything. It was impressive, to say the least.
What are you showing, JP? JP, are you there? Is he on mute?
Yes.
Yes, JP, you're on mute. What were you showing? And you can show it again real quick.
I'm pretty sure it is meters per second that they measure that in. It's usually around 5. Right here. Advanced companion, 5.3 meter per second. Max sync rate. What's another popular? Ozone Angel.
Yeah,
Are they
so
available?
that's
Are
that
they
maximum.
available?
That's that maximum loading, though. Like, you want to be at the lighter end of a reserve.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it is about 5.5 meters a second. Okay.
That's pretty legit.
Which
I've
to
always
me,
heard about reserves was they'll save your life, but they may break your back.
Yeah.
that doesn't sound fun.
Well,
That's why I
this
got,
just goes to the point of why you aren't carrying one in your introductory training lessons.
Yeah, you don't know it
Because-
unless you have to.
Yeah.
Man. You know?
You're gonna get hurt most likely.
but it's
you're
going to keep
gonna
it from
live.
splatting or bouncing. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Everyone I've talked to who's thrown a reserve has been completely okay. Like, Woody stood up his reserve throw on a motor.
That's
He
awesome.
He landed on his feet.
He did throw 2, didn't he?
Yeah.
He threw 2, and then
One
landed
wasn't
on.
open at all. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty badass.
But you realize that if he only had one, reserve or no reserve, he would probably not be telling the same story.
No. He would probably be dead.
Mhm.
Yeah. So reserves are good, and it's always good to have them. If you have more than one unit, or if you have a trike and a foot launch. I like the ones that I can take off and have right in front of me. I like the ones right in front of me. So no matter which hand I have for throttle, I can reach down and throw either way. But most reserves are either on the right or left-hand side of the paramotor underneath the seat, correct?
A lot of them go on the side of the harness. So the Scout does the under seat, but most paramotors do the side mount option. Which, people will say that, yeah, if your one hand gets in, you can't get to it. But I think it's a pretty good option, all things considered. You got to be in a pretty precarious situation to throw a reserve. So at that point, your wing's kind of messed up. You just got to get down there and throw it.
I totally agree. Hey, Turning Marzano also said, with Halloween coming up, any pumpkin drops in the future?
Yeah, that would be super fun. Maybe we'll be out in the desert when Halloween happens. I don't know if they have like friggin' cactus pumpkins out there, but we'll throw some. It'll be a good time. We're having a good time. So I think that would be fun.
I think, you know,
A
Arkansas,
little friendly competition.
I think it's Arkansas, or once a year they have a pumpkin chunking contest. They got these ballistic cannons with like 100-foot long barrels that slowly accelerate to see who can shoot the pumpkin the farthest. I mean,
I've
they're shooting.
seen those. Yeah, I've seen those. Those.
They
those
shoot
are
them like
pretty-
miles, man. I mean,
used to be so into pumpkin chunking. Y'all have no idea.
really.
Um,
What, like a trebuchet?
there's a
Impression?
team- there's a team- yeah. So in the torsion catapult division, so Twisted Rope is based in Asbury, New Jersey, where I live. And they're super cool guys, and they can throw a pumpkin like 4,000 feet. But when I was younger, I used to make air cannons and shoot stuff out of air cannons, and pretend I was a pumpkin chunking. But it's a really cool thing, honestly. They shut it down. It's kind of a bummer, but yeah.
Yeah, we call them potato cannons in
Awesome.
Alabama.
You guys, yeah, those are fun too. We want to make an aviator potato cannon. But air cannons are, you pull a vacuum on like an entire tube and then use the atmospheric pressure to send stuff out, and you can get you know, like a golf ball to supersonic pretty easily with a long enough barrel because it's accelerating in a vacuum.
We'll definitely have to try something like that one these days. JP has to go, unfortunately. It's about 8:45. So JP, thank you very much for hanging out with us, bud.
Hey, I just want to say thanks, Judson, man. Really appreciate it. Love your content. I'm sure we'll see you around at a fly-in or something.
Yeah, dude, let's stir up some more drama in the paramotor group for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. I'll see you around, buddy.
All right, guys, take care.
Thanks, JP.
Hey, JP. Judson, just getting back to your reserve, you said you had a one of the light ones. Do they make them in the larger sizes? He's frozen.
What'd you say? I couldn't understand what you said.
Oh, you know, he said he carries a one of his parachutes are light. In other words, lighter weight. I'm just wondering if they're made in, you know, like the 140 size. Obviously, he wouldn't be carrying one that big.
I think there's all sorts of different sizes and shapes. It just really depends on what you want. Anybody have any experience with reserves that, you know, the sizes and how that all works? Anybody? No. Judson, we see that you're back on, you're sideways, and you're on mute, buddy.
There it is.
So the question from Walter was referring to your two reserves. Basically, are they different sizes?
Judson,
He
is he
froze
frozen
again.
again?
As soon as he turned his phone sideways. Oh, well,
Until he comes back, does anybody fly with two reserves, and are they the same or are they different? I think if I had a second reserve, I think it'd just be a round reserve that's as big as I can get. That would, you know, float me down nice and safe. Plus my steerable. And who said that? Somebody said, Mark George said steerables are not always accurate. Kyle Ogley said that they will never be 100%, and it's possible that you won't be able to steer it either. It gets tangled. I understand. Yeah. It's always good to have more than one reserve, I suppose. Judson's back. All right.
I'm trying my best. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics for my reserve, but I know Ozone makes the Angel Square in a light, and they go up to 240. So that's what we run on the tray. So it's pretty big.
Okay.
But I don't know about the gin and the sub air stuff. It's just what I happen to have.
So how much lighter is a light over a normal reserve? You got any idea?
I don't know, maybe a pound or two. It's
Yeah.
probably more of a difference on the bigger ones than the smaller ones, honestly.
Yeah, I was quite surprised how heavy they are actually for a reserve.
There's quite a bit of fabric in there.
Yeah.
There's quite
Yeah.
a bit. Even the small ones I have for my weight are like 34 square meters. They're huge.
Yeah.
Has anybody at Aviator that you know of, and I've had this conversation with a few people about trying to find somebody out there that has some sort of zip line feature that we could do a simulation where we actually throw our reserve in a somewhat realistic environment to see if it deploys, whether we live or die, you know?
Yeah, I've seen videos out there, but I don't know where they are.
I don't know of any. You could certainly go out.
I think he's breaking up again. I can't understand what he's saying. Can you guys hear what he said?
No.
Okay. Until he comes back, we got Paul Marzano asking a question. Says, what minimums or what, I guess it's altitude
I
minimum.
haven't kept it. I don't know of any in particular.
Yeah, and we talked about that with Andrew as well at Skylab. You know, he acted like he was willing to help put together something like that. So I know a lot of people that have the reserve, they want, rather than just hanging himself in their garage and then grabbing it, throwing it, you know, they'd rather have more realistic simulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do anything else you want to talk before I go?
Man, you're cut down on us pretty bad. All I heard that last part was before you go. Do you need to cut out on us?
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
That was all the questions I had on my list. Several of them got asked in a couple different ways.
Yeah, we just have one in here. It's like, what's the minimum deployment altitude for a reserve? Do you know that offhand?
It depends on how fast you get it out, but I've heard like 100 feet. I mean, once that thing hits air at the end, it's opening instantly. So pretty low, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the lowest. I'm sorry, go ahead, Justin.
I was really impressed at how fast reserves open when I saw them in real life at SIV.
Absolutely.
I mean, once that thing hits air, I mean, you lose almost no altitude. It just opens right up.
I can't remember who I was just talking with about somebody. I think it might have been an instructor in Pennsylvania, but he was mentioning to me, it's amazing how much difference a brand new or a reserve that's been repacked before will open quicker than a brand new reserve that's never been repacked. So if it's a brand new reserve, it's been sitting there for a couple years and it's never been opened up, unfolded, still got the factory fold, is, you know, typically take a little longer to open up.
That was probably Dave. I don't know too much about that. But I had my reserve packed by some Army master riggers, and they kind of walked me through everything on how it opens and how it works. So I'm really confident in mine, but I don't know too much about that.
So do you repack your own then now?
No, I'll trust somebody else to do that. Preferably somebody with a lot of parachute packing experience.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I don't know. That's something you don't want to like half-ass. That's like your last line of defense, and that should be done properly.
100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Kent Stevie and Will Fly gave $5. Appreciate that, guys.
Oh, thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
I made it to Florida, so we did this podcast in officially 3 states.
Wow.
Trifecta.
Yeah. Woo!
That's awesome. Yeah, Will Fly said Resurgent rocks, and Ken Stamy said because Jay said I had to.
and we've been talking about people's YouTube channels and whatnot. And I just have to give a shout out to Will Fly here. He makes some incredibly good YouTube videos as well. His channel's only been out for a little over a year or so, and he's got thousands of subscribers. Incredible videos, and it's what makes it good, in my opinion, is kind of how you were describing your other buddies, is they tell a good story. You know, they're just well put together. So y'all check them out for sure. Judson makes good videos. I make videos. They're watchable, some of them. But
Good. Come on, Brian.
Yeah, well,
No.
you're right. God is Australian. He spoke to me the other night. He sounded exactly like in your vlog, mate.
Hey, John Wayne gave $10 too. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh, no. Thank you very much, John Wayne. Appreciate you, buddy.
definitely don't want to piss off John Wayne. Leave him out.
No, definitely not. John Wayne, we love you, bud. Can't wait to go flying with you again.
Yeah,
That
man.
Jerry
I'm looking forward to hearing all about his switch from the Atom 80 to the Moster.
Seems like somebody else I know just switched from an Atom to a
Yeah.
Moster.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I did. That's why I want to kind of compare notes with them.
Oh, okay.
Now, Judson, I mean, have you flown a foot launch Moster 185? That's what you got on your Scout, right? I don't think you heard me. Judson, you've flown the Moster 185 on your Scout, right?
Looks like he's frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my primary engine. And then I can see you guys.
Okay, we see you.
Yeah, I fly the 185 primarily. But I fly the Atom quite a bit as well. They're both really good engines that just fill different roles.
When would you use the 80 and when would you use the 185, curiously?
I use the 80 if I'm thermaling and I can get a reserve on one. And I also use the 80 for high wind flying almost exclusively because it's lighter. The 185 for like most of my flying because I can climb really well. And it gives me a little bit more weight so I can like go fast-ish. I mean, you got to understand, like, I get beat. When I had my free ride, I would literally have students passing me on Mojas. Like, I'm so slow. So any bit of weight I can add is nice.
So do you have the bigger tank on yours? The 17
No,
liter?
No, it's a 12-liter tank.
And do you normally foot launch with that full?
Often, but I have, and it's not really an issue. But usually I'll put like 7 liters in because I know that's a solid like hour and a half.
Oh yeah, that's a good question to ask. How long do you normally fly when you're not, teaching students? And how much gas do you put in?
It depends on the area, but if I'm just going for like a fun flight, usually like an hour to an hour and a half, and I'll take 7 to 9 liters, depending on how long I plan on flying. But generally, if I'm gassing up a Moster, I just put 7 in.
Do you, at your weight, do you feel the difference, or is there a big difference between the Atom 80 and the 185 as far as gas consumption?
Oh yeah, 100%. The Moster burns, 4 liters an hour with me, depending on how hard I'm pushing it. If I use a lot of speed bar, it'll go up to 5. But the Atom will burn, 2 an hour, maybe 3 if I'm really getting on it, and like 1.5 if I'm like being super gentle. But the Atom, we like to joke that it makes gas. I burn almost no gas with it.
That's crazy. I've never flown one.
I mean, like generally for our students on Atom 80s, we launch them with 2 liters of gas. And that's good for 3 or 4 students' flight.
Wow.
So
2 liters of gas versus, I mean,
Judson,
that's
Judson, that's just a little bit better than my Rotax 503 at 18 litres.
What, the
Yeah.
Atom 80 is better?
Ours burns about 2 gallons an hour, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Now, you said that you use the Atom 80 for high winds.
Yeah.
So tell me why you'd use that for high winds instead of like the 185.
Well, generally when it's really strong in Lake Wales, all I do is like touch and goes and land on things and hover. And I'm looking for something that's light and something that's like easy to like wield on my back. And the Moster is a lot of weight for me to just kind of swing around. But the really light motors like the Eclipse and the Maverick just make it easier. And I realistically don't need the extra thrust, especially in the wind. So it's more from like a safety and enjoyment aspect. Like if I'm flying when it's, 18 miles an hour on the ground and I'm taking off going backwards, then like I'm not climbing up to 1,000 feet. I'm not really going over 200 ever. So, and I have a strong, and it was really grateful that I was on a Maverick in that moment because I just stood up and brushed it off, whereas that would have been thousands of dollars to my Scout. So
We missed part of that. We heard something. We missed the middle part. We got the $1,000 done to your Scout.
like a safety aspect. I've fallen over. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I've fallen over and gotten dragged through the sand.
Ooh.
I was just really grateful to be on off, and it was like completely fine. Whereas you completely destroyed the whole motor. The wing fell behind me, reinflated, pulled me onto my back, flipped me through the risers, and I stood up, and it was fine.
Wow.
Is that technically a turtle?
It was a temporary turtle.
Temporary turtle.
Yeah, I mean, it was the strongest wind I'd ever flown in, and I was trying to land like sitting down on the frame. So like, don't do that.
Wow.
Wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, I didn't record that and haven't talked about it, but I totally did that one time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think one's better or worse. I just think they both have like different roles and different applications. And if you're a lighter pilot, then you can really kind of utilize them both. But if you're heavier, you just have to fly the Moster.
Judson, you've always been a Scout man. What are you flying now?
So I have an Enduro Hoop Scout. That might change in the not so distant future, but I would say for the rest of 2021, yeah, you're going to see me on a Scout. It's the first frame I flew with a Moster on it, and I really like the handling, and it's just been a good option for me. So I'm used to it, and that's what I choose to fly. But I don't think like it's better or worse than anything else. The aerodynamic torque compensation when you're not doing acro functions as good as a Maverick. It's not any better. It's not any worse. But where it does shine is when you start doing, powered acro and you get that really high airspeed through the hoop. It really kind of locks in and feels super solid. But I flew a max fly with the torque compensation fins on it and was extraordinarily impressed by that. So that was really cool. But yeah, we'll see where I end up. But you know, I'm getting close to 400 hours on that motor, and just want to, you know, try something different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's the smallest wing you've flown so far?
14-meter free ride. No, 14-meter free ride.
Heck yeah.
And I didn't. It was fun, but I didn't like it. It's just too. I really like the slow and flowy style of flying, and it was just too snappy for me. It just wasn't what I was looking for.
Looking through the chat, looks like you got a compliment. Hot Butter Steve says Justin rocks way better stash than Tucker.
Oh God. Well, comment down below.
Let's see. David Nickerson just said, if you could design a wing, what would it be?
If I could design a wing, what would it be? I don't know. The Viper 5 is pretty perfect. I would like it with a little bit like heater riser system. The riser system kind of sucks, but otherwise the Viper 5 is like the best I've flown. You can't take one wing to do everything. Like, I'm not going to take the Viper out and fly high wind and try to land on stuff with it. It's not for that. And I'm also not going to take it out and try to do helis on it. There's wings for that. So you know, the cool thing with paramotors is you can have one engine and, you know, this arsenal of wings that are capable of doing different things for different tasks. And I just respect all the different wings for being able to complete different roles for me.
So how many wings do you think someone would have to have, or how many wings would you have to have to do all the things that you want to do? Like going, you know, doing your low and slow, doing your acro, going cross country.
Thermaling.
Thermaling, right? You said Gin Vantage for the thermaling, right?
A Gin Vantage or a Kona. I don't think I would try to move to a hotter paragliding wing than that at my current skill level. I'm by no means an expert and have no reason to be flying, you know, a C rated paragliding wing. But I would say probably 4. I would like an A wing. Well, maybe you could. Yeah, you could do a 4. I would say a B-rated non-reflex like paragliding wings like the Gin Vantage, or like the you know, the Nova, what the hell is it called? The Nova Mentor or something for paragliding and the low and slow high wind condition stuff. I would like a dedicated cross-country wing, like a Sirocco 3. For, you know, that's really stable in turbulence. It's really fast. The Viper for the freestyle flying, and then an acro-specific wing for the floppy acro, I think would be a really round setup, and you could really cover all the bases with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the Gin Vantage because thermaling is so easy with the Gin Vantage. I really like that.
Yeah, and I found the handling really intuitive as well. I was pleasantly surprised by that wing. It's pretty solid. Yeah, I don't know, people get all worked up about brands, and I'm not really like a brand guy. I just like the way Ozone handles. I really like their design philosophy, and I have access to them, so I fly them more often than not. But I flew a Dudek for a while. I enjoy the Gin stuff. I have mixed feelings about the carb, but it's a pretty good wing. And then the Nivic stuff, you know, I like them. The handling's good. They handle turbulence well, but like, damn, they've tried to kill and have killed a few people, and I'm not really cool with that. And how they handled the whole Cougar 3 riser thing with Tucker, like, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So
Yeah.
I didn't really like that at all. I didn't find that very stand-up of them. But I don't know. Any wing I can get on and be confident in 100% is something I want to fly. Like, I don't want to be on speed bar and be nervous that it's going to explode into midair.
Right. Right. Do you do a lot of, do you test a lot of different wings? Do you demo different wings?
Yeah, I try to fly like whatever I can get my hands on. I flew a 14-meter Dominator once. It was kind of shitty. But like a Dominator sized appropriately is like a totally fine A-wing. Like, they're fine. I want to fly. I haven't had the opportunity to try any of the new Dudek stuff, like the warp and the drift air. And I really want to try that stuff. So if anyone wants to, you know, let me take their stuff for a rip at a fly-in, I totally do that. But yeah, I just want to fly like the best and what I am comfortable on. And you know, if people want to be all brand this, brand that, then they can be that. But if the wing's good, a wing's good. That's the bottom line.
We have a couple of people that said some stuff in the chat since we've been talking. Dave Ruff said, Judson, hook into a Buzz Z5 and go. It's a great combo. Paul Marzano said, if you don't fly the Dominator, you're going to die. And Ripley Smith said, if you could fly anywhere in the world, where would you choose to fly?
Hi, Ripley. Thanks for watching. If I could fly, I'm really excited to go to the American West. But Iceland is probably like one of those places that I have to go to at some point in my life. That's my answer.
And Mark George says from ParaswagUSA.com said, what are your thoughts on the BGD Luna 2?
It's a really cool wing. Number one, it looks fantastic. It really looks good. It's an interesting wing because the line set is longer than most motor wings. So it handles more similarly to an acro glider like my Emily P in the way that it builds energy. It's kind of like an exponential curve. It builds it like, it's like nothing, 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 and then all of it. It's definitely not as efficient as the Spider, but I don't have any problems with it. It's pretty cool. Jamie Priest is 20 meter, and yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, can I do?
I like that they took it. I like that they took it down to an 18 meter too. That's welcome for the light pilot. Like, I don't understand why a lot of wing manufacturers don't take their wings down to a small size. It's like, yeah, I understand you don't want people to get the really small one and overload it, but there's 100-pound pilots out there who have nothing to fly. You know?
Speaking of loading, typically what percentage are you loaded on your wing?
Like 70. I tell people to shoot for like 80, 85%, but like on the free ride and the Viper, I'm about 75% of the recommended wing loading. And it's totally fine.
Yeah, when I started out, I was like 80% loaded on a Mojo.
Yeah.
And then I put on weight, I added retractor wheels, and I got a smaller wing. Now I'm 100% loaded on a Spider 3. And man, I'm ripping it up, man. I went from burning like 4 hours of fuel an hour to when I'm doing lots of wing overs and stuff. I'm burning like over 7 liters of fuel an hour now.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I can touch on that for a second. That sounds like a blast. But with the newer crop of the more high performance wings, especially from Ozone, we found there's no reason to go overweight on them. Like the Sirocco didn't gain any, when AJ flew all the sizes, he said it didn't gain any performance from going to a smaller size, being overweight. In fact, it lost performance. And then with the Viper, AJ got an 18 square meter, and he's like 225 flying a Thor 303. And he said it's too dynamic, and it's not what he's looking for. And my wing loading is something what he's looking for, so he's going to move up to a 22 probably. So I wouldn't recommend like overloading the higher performance wings. Just fly them in the weight range. It's better. But yeah, I don't know. It's all about like what you're looking for. I personally don't like the feeling of a glider that's overweight. It just feels floppy and like you're, trying to break it. Not that it's gonna break, but it just kind of doesn't feel like it's performing like it's designed to.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. But each their own.
no, I think that's solid advice, man. You want to stay within the manufacturer's ratings. And when I did the math, and after I added retractor trike wheels, that's 21 pounds. I was like, okay, 101% loaded. I can't fly my wing no more. It's crap.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I talked to people that are flying 120, 130% loaded on the same wings, which is, you're outside of the manufacturer specs. It's not going to, necessarily behave like a B-rated wing anymore. But
yeah, well, the other thing to remember is like, they make, as you go up in the class of wings, as you get more advanced on the gliders, they become more efficient. Each square meter of that glider is making more lift. So, you could start on a Spider 26 and then go down to a 22, but you're not really getting the performance you should be getting from a 22. You should be on a more efficient wing at that point, if that makes sense.
can I do a barrel roll with a Spider?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Sweet. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Y'all hold my beer.
I really love the Spider 20. That thing is, I got to exit to take in a second here. Oh, no, it's just stay on I-95 South. No, I really love the Spider 320, especially with the 2D tied in. It's quite dynamic. You can do barrel rolls and bats and all that fun stuff on it. But it still feels really safe. So like when we went to where'd we go? I think I went to Swanee one time and I just took a Spider 20 because it's just a solid wing.
And how much did you say that you weigh?
Like 125 pounds.
Wow.
So Brian, when you do your barrel roll, are you going to have that on video?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, man. I hope that
Oh yeah. If it ain't on video, you didn't do it, right?
True.
That
You
is
can do
correct.
you can do it with your trike.
Oh yeah. I had foot launch since I got my wheels, man. What are you talking about? I don't know how to run anymore.
That's awesome.
Hey, don't say that. Jade and I went flying yesterday. I foot launched, and I haven't foot launched in a while. Man, I'm a little sore. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I need to get back into the foot launch game pretty quick when I get back. I'm going on a hunt trip. I've been trying to save my ankle for that trip. So anyway,
for real men.
yeah, I know. I'm not a real man. I'm just a fake man, I guess.
Will, you weigh 103 pounds.
No, come on. No, I did buy the unit that I bought. I bought with the idea of adding the attachment, the trike kit. So
And Will, how much do you weigh?
150.
150. So you weigh more than Judson. Wow.
Yeah. I would realistically like to weigh more like 140, 150 because I just run into like so many issues where it's like they don't make a wing that fits me. You know, I can't keep up with everyone, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know.
Well, you just need to eat more Dairy Queen. It's been working for Will.
That's true.
Did you read John Wayne's comment?
No.
Which one about the 2-meter piece of plywood?
No, he says that explains my sex life. It ain't on video.
Dude, that was awesome.
Oh no, John Wayne. I thought I saw that video on the internet.
Gotta record that for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh man, love the sense of humor.
It is really awesome. Well, it is 9:17. We've been talking for almost 2.5 hours, which is really awesome. We haven't done this since wintertime, which is great. Judson, how much longer can you chat with us? And anybody on the panel need to leave?
Yeah,
I got a homeless guy soliciting me next to the window, but other than that, we're chilling.
Oh, so you made it to Florida. Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, Google took me some weird ass way. I'm just hoping he don't go in the camper.
Judson, a quick question, Walter, again from Australia. Can you, with international flights, when and if they do, could you see Paradigm team coming to one of the Australian air shows?
Oh, I'd love to take everyone down there. It's just we need a sponsor to pay for that. Like that's extraordinarily expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, we'll have to do a bit of. I'll send some letters or something into the to the shows here and see if we can get something stirred up. But yeah, it'll be a while yet.
Walter, if you could pay the shipping, they might get there.
Ooh.
Yeah, plus the licensing's different there. Wouldn't they have to get a waiver?
I think they'd be fine.
FAA will write them one for Australia. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We have what they call Avalon, which is every 2 years, Judson, which that would be the ideal one to come to. It's in Melbourne, Victoria, like southeast coast. That's the biggest one they have every 2 years. I'd love to see the one here in South Australia. I'm in middle South Australia, bottom, and the RAF base, our Royal Australian Air Force, they have a show every few years. So, you know, something to think forward to the future, because I think one of those shows, especially our night shows, would go down big time here.
Yeah, I think it would be super fun, and I'd love to organize something like that. That would be more of an Eric question. I can't really.
No, yeah.
But yeah, if we need a sponsor, realistically.
Yeah, we need to put out some feelers here. Someone, you know, that could support you guys here.
Guess we could ask somebody in the chat. Hey, you guys got a couple million to help support this? This would be great. I'd love to.
Have a couple million, but I had to say, you know, people talking about where they love to fly. I've always thought Australia would be the top of my list of countries to visit. But now that I'm in a paramotor, I'm like, yeah, that, you know, we fly some crazy, dangerous places. Y'all foot drag water. We go by alligators. But can you imagine foot dragging by a crocodile, or going over a hippo, or a water buffalo, or elephants,
or
lions? You have an engine.
Like kangaroo.
Like, kangaroo.
Dude, kangaroos are freaking scary. You know, Josh is out there running from bears. No, and beaver. Dude, Josh is all scared of all the wildlife. No. You don't need to be scared of bears. You don't need to be scared of bugs. You need to be scared of a freaking
The Sheilas you got to look out for, man.
Yeah, Judson, I was following a quite a large kangaroo one day, and I was low, but lucky I wasn't much lower because he stopped, turned, looked at me, and when the kangaroo stands up, they grow a couple of feet, and yeah, if he jumped up, he wasn't far off the bottom of my PPC, so they can get aggressive. As you've seen, they can do boxing pretty well.
You know what would be a beautiful place to fly, I think, would be New Zealand.
Yeah.
Man.
Where they filmed the Lord of the Rings, they got all that backdrop.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that next year. We'll all do that next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to come to Australia too. You can't just go to New Zealand. I'd be very upset if you did that.
That would really, I could see, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Like
well,
drag the Great Barrier Reef with the great white sharks. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
it'd be super
yeah.
fun. I just want to get out of the country and explore the world.
Yeah. I mean, you got a beautiful country, don't get me wrong. I've been over there and there is lots to see, but we have got some grand spots and you know, at the end of the day, we're girthed by sea. So you'd see plenty of ocean here and we have some great beaches and stuff like that to land on. So, yeah.
Speaking about traveling and all that stuff, Judson, how many states have you flown in, and have you flown in any other countries other than the United States?
I haven't flown outside of the U.S., and I honestly haven't flown in that many states. I've flown in Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio,
Georgia.
Wisconsin, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, and Georgia.
Oh yeah, that's
So, like,
just a handful of states. Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, I don't have that many. This October, I'm gonna add a bunch to the list. But yeah, realistically, not that many.
You haven't flown Texas with Mr. Vella or Mitch G?
No, we talked about it a bunch. I just haven't had the opportunity to make it out there yet. I might shoot a low approach to Florida and you know, go over there, but we'll see how the time works out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it is almost 9:30. Panel, any other questions before we head on out and let Justin get back to his long trip?
I'm almost there, dude.
Oh, good.
I don't have a question, but I want to say thank you, Judson, for spending your time with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been a blast. It's super fun.
Helps pass the time when driving, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
It definitely helps pass the time when driving, when you can do a paramotor podcast or listen to podcasts.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's been like 8 minutes. Like, it's gone. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll try to drive on Mondays so I can get on the chat.
That's
We'd
awesome.
love to have you anytime. I'd like to also say thank you, Ben, for coming on. It was great meeting you again, getting to fly with you in Jersey Shore for sure. I look forward to doing it again soon.
Yeah, man, that was a great spot. I'm glad so many people came out.
Yeah, that was awesome. No doubt. That was a great trip.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Judson,
came.
Walter here from Australia. I was just thinking the same. You've done a good job on this podcast, and you haven't crashed, so you're doing well.
Yeah, you get tired
And
now.
it looks like we've kept you awake.
Awake.
That's
Cheers,
great.
buddy.
Travels, Justin. Safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Judson.
There you go.
Definitely appreciate you being on the show and sharing experiences and letting us delve into your life a little bit more and learn more about you. definitely are doing really well over at Aviator. You've been an instructor for more than a year. You've been flying a lot. You're on the Paradigm team, man, and you're only 20 years old.
It's only up from here.
So I'm just curious, what do you think's going to go on in 10 years from now if you got this much accomplished already?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want the YouTube thing to get bigger and hopefully at some point be able to do that full time, because that would just allow me to have my lifestyle support itself. And then, you know, I would like to buy a house or some property near an airfield or on an airstrip preferably, and get more into general aviation when I'm in a position to throw more money at that. But, you know, right now I'm just trying to like save some and get some things set aside for my future before I start throwing it all at, you know, general aviation. But yeah, I think the van is going to be a really good option for the next couple of years, because it's going to allow me to live very, very cheaply and just kind of go see more stuff. So that's what I plan on. I'm just going to kind of do it as it comes. I didn't really ever subscribe to the whole like do this career for 30 years and then get this retirement at the end. You know, I was in that position at my old job and nobody looked happy, so I wasn't really about it.
Cheers.
And I'm doing paramotor and I'm happy. So, you know, I want to keep doing that. Just stay in aviation, just see where it takes me and just try to do it safely.
Hey man, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
It hasn't felt like it hasn't really felt like a day of work yet.
Okay, I've got one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Judson, so are you aware that there's a girls flying show on Wednesday nights now?
Flying what?
Girls Just Want to Fly. It's a YouTube show that I had started about 12 weeks ago. Just wondering if you would be interested in getting your girlfriend to join in on that sometime.
Yeah, she'll totally join in. I mean, I can't speak for her, but like she'll totally join.
Cool. Hopefully you can watch and join in on the chat too.
Yeah,
They won't let us on. We can only be in the chat. No men. Without a wig on anyway.
Ain't that the truth? And you beat me to it. You beat me to it, Jade. I was going to ask him here as soon as I could.
Yeah.
But you jumped in and you got it. Yeah. So just in case you didn't know, Flying Flamingo Jade has an all-girl cast. It's a paramotor flying aviation type of podcast that goes on every Wednesday night. And you always go over to paramotorgirl.com and check it out. So we definitely appreciate you.
Yeah. There definitely needs to be a bigger female presence in the sport, and I'm like super happy that it's growing and that there's people, you know, promoting it, such as that. There's bad props, because it's super empowering, and everyone should be paramotoring. So yeah, that's awesome. I'll definitely give that a look and let Jill know.
And of course, you know, if you like to, you know, talk about paramotors and food and just hang out on Tuesday night over at ppgshane.com, you have a nice paramotor / talk about whatever you want to podcast going on every Tuesday night with Never Trust the Skinny Chef Shane.
Yeah,
and
but I don't trust Skinny Chef.
None of us do. None of us do. It's all right.
No, we never trust skinny chefs.
You go down south, some dude's like cooking barbecue. Are you gonna go to the dude who's like 400 pounds? Or are you gonna go to the dude who looks like he's anorexic? Like which guy are you going to?
Exactly. And then there's something going on Thursday nights, and I'll let Paramount USA, Linda Anderson, tell us about that one.
Oh, hey. Oh, yes. I love my Thursday. And it's paraglidingtalk.com with your host, Robert Michaels. There's always shenanigans on the show. Lots of great information, lots of cool guests. So y'all gotta check it out on Thursday night. Be there,
Well-
be square.
Well, who is this guy to you?
That is my number one son,
All right.
Robert Michael. That's right. I'm his PR. Yes.
I was
keep
on
telling
that
him
about a
I'm
year
the
ago.
payroll. I'm on the payroll, but he says I'm public relations. I'm like, boo. Yeah. So
What's up, Judson?
Yeah, you know, Judson was on paraglidingtalk.com about a year ago, right, Linda?
Yeah,
Yep.
a little over a
Yep.
year ago. I'll go
Oh,
again.
Yep,
Hell
I
yeah.
remember that. That's right, Judson. I remember. Well, we're just gonna have to get you back on there again.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Let's do it.
Fair enough.
It sounds like I need my own paramotor podcast.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Fridays and Saturdays are open because Sunday you got Paramotor Nation. So yeah, you got Friday and Saturday. Just pick a day.
Cool. Yeah, I think it would be fun. I don't want to drag Tucker into anything, but if we could get like, I don't know, if we could get like me, him, Josh, Dan, those guys like chatting, I mean, we'll just go for hours. It's sometimes a struggle to get off the field and go continue our conversation at dinner. So I think that would be fun.
That sounds like a great show for Friday night, Judson.
Yeah, it sounds like a Friday night show.
Yep.
Sure.
All right.
Why
Friday
not?
night.
Sean could help you out with that, no problem, Judson.
No problem.
Awesome.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Thank you so much for having me. I very much appreciate it. I loved all the questions. If you want to have me back on, we'll do another Q&A. I'm down. So, yeah, I think I'll head off now. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for 2.5 hours. Oh my goodness. Have a safe trip and definitely come back anytime. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good night. Meow.
Good night.
Yeah, man. Peace out.
Thank you.
Well, that was really super awesome.
Excellent.
Any takeaways from this wonderful podcast with Judson Graham?
Yeah.
Fly with reserves, right?
Lots of great info.
Go get proper training.
The proper training, absolutely. Aviator's an awesome school.
Mhm.
Reserve training,
Reserve training, right? Absolutely.
proper wing loading.
And you know what? You're not necessarily too young to get into the sport or too small. You can, there's gear out there to fit you no matter what size you are. There's schools that can get you in the air.
Absolutely.
And you can just do it safely. I mean, look what he accomplished in 4 years.
Yeah, and he's 20 years old, and look, it's just amazing what he's accomplished. And he's not even legally able to drink yet. Unbelievable.
I know, right?
Right. Absolutely awesome. Well, guys, definitely appreciate my panel for jumping on and always being here. I know that we jumped on really quick and we went through, really quick, since we had Judson on and we didn't know when his internet was going to cut out. So we didn't really do a lot of intro when we first got on. But Brian Habea Waller, you can find his shenanigans over at pbgbrian.com. Tell us a little bit about, about your shenanigans and what you've been doing over the
Yeah, so I really, really like to fly low between hay bales, and that's kind of my call sign. No, I've been doing a lot more flying around hay bales. I love the slalom. Gotten better at it, but I make a few videos. I throw them up on YouTube, and I jump on this show on Monday night. Sometimes you catch me on a Tuesday night show, or in the chat on a Wednesday night show, or Thursday night show, or Sunday night show.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And this
I'm
one
not-
will be Friday night show.
soon to be a Friday night show, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You never know. Never
Actually,
know.
the list of names he said, it would be great.
Yeah. Hey, Walter.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
when you start talking, you don't need to say Walter from Australia, because I think he knows who's talking. I think he knows the Australian talking.
Probably tell by.
I don't know. Some of you guys, I find it hard to, some are easy to tell you're Australian, but otherwise, Australian, American. But yeah,
I'm just giving you a hard time, man.
But hey, hold
Yeah,
on.
no.
Hey there. This is Eric from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
This is Sean from Arkansas.
All right, rub it in.
All
Rub
right.
it in.
We love you, Walter. You know that, man.
And don't forget Jim from Canada, eh?
I almost started saying it because there's so many gyms.
They're Michigander. That's what I
Where's
say,
CR120?
Michigander. They're Michigander.
Where is he?
No,
Or what-
where is it? Gym CR120.
He's in Florida, but I don't know
No,
where
but
he's actually from.
Well, he's a military guy. He's been all over. He lived in Maine. I think now he's got a house in North Carolina. But yeah, he's instructing at Aviator right now in Florida, Lake Wells.
Well, I'm sorry. I was just trying to think, because he always is called Gym CR120.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what do I say? This is Jim Simard. This is Jim from Canada. This is Jim from Saskatchewan.
This is the other Jim.
This
Like,
is
got so
Jim,
many-
eh? That's all you need to say. This is Jim, eh?
Jim from Canada would be
Yeah,
better
that
because
would
I don't
be
know how to
dull.
spell Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
I don't
And-
use that word.
And then you can go, what it's all about, and we'll know.
There you go.
Hey, man.
So I was out in the boot.
So just out in a boot, eh?
Hey, I got something to say.
Yeah.
JP Tulo missed.
Oh,
Y'all noticed what I was wearing tonight.
I can't
Oh,
really.
no.
Oh,
Oh.
Ohio.
It
What was
says
it say?
Ohio, birthplace of aviation.
Oh,
He missed it.
He did. How long did it take you to find that shirt?
I got it when I went up to the Wright Brothers Museum. It was buy one, get three free. So,
You're basically trying to give away the Ohio shirts. I got you.
That is so funny. Well, Will, tell us a little bit about your channel and what you do.
Oh man, real simple. I just love to fly paramotors and I like to make videos about doing it. You can find me at willflyppg.com or willfly on YouTube.
Absolutely. Really good videos. And all your videos have like 4,000 and 5,000 hits, like, almost within a couple of days.
That's
Really,
not fair, man.
yeah, really good videos. You tell a great story and we definitely appreciate that. And always good to fly with you too at the fly-ins.
Yeah, man. Enjoy it.
We also got Eric Lear and Flying Flamingo Jade. I think they're married, living up in Wisconsin cheeseheads.
Austin?
Tell us a little bit about you two and what you do and how we get up with you and your shenanigans on YouTube.
Well, I would like to just touch base on one thing. Everybody's talking about their names, the GM CR120 and just the other Jim and whatever. So I got one that I've been asking Jade. I think I asked Will, if Smart Car Brian sells his car and buys a Fiat, will he be also known as Fiat Brian, or will he always be known as Smart Car Brian?
Always be known as Smart Car Brian.
Yeah.
If I ever become a great grandpa, no one's going to say PPG great grandpa Sean. No, it's going to be just PPG grandpa.
Right. Anyways, you can find me at ppglear.com and you will never find new content, although I film everything for safety reasons and to learn by, but I just don't do videos. I will
The
give
same
my
video will be there over and over.
Exactly. I give my video stuff to Jade, and if she wants to put it on her awesome videos, she will. And I've never seen any of my stuff.
Uh-oh. Jade, what do you have to say about that?
I've run out of time. I can't even make my own. I still have moonshiners. I've got Dave Purdon's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to learn Final Cut, and Will keeps leaving me and won't give me tutor lessons on,
Finally
on
got
editing.
cut.
What?
You finally got the final cut, or you had?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Did you
Yeah.
get motion too?
I don't know.
Yeah, you got motion.
I finally got motion and been working
Oh,
with.
yes,
Is-
motion. Yep. But it's just trying to learn my MacBook Pro at the same time. So
And you just started a new job.
yeah, and I've got a different job that's taking me during the day.
Well, congratulations on your new job.
Even more reason, Will, you should be helping her out. Come on.
I do help her out, but you can't teach someone. It's like teaching someone a foreign language. You can't do it in 2 days, you know, in between flights.
Right.
Hey, was that Walter from Australia talking?
I can't tell if it's Walter from Australia or the other Walter,
Down under.
the other Nick. We got the other Nick. We got the other Walter.
I've told you before, Eric, you try standing on your head all through the show, mate. It's not easy. You know? Blood rushes to my head and then everything gets mixed up.
Well, at least you can tell us that what's going to be going on tomorrow since you're already there. I guess you time travel back in time every week on Monday to come over here to see us. So we appreciate that, buddy.
Well, that's why I zoomed on, because that way I'm right connected with you, you see. Otherwise
Absolutely.
it's delayed. Otherwise
Like
it's
time
delayed.
travel.
Yeah, without Walter, we'll never know if tomorrow will come. But if we see Walter here on Monday, we know that Tuesday is for sure.
Yep,
That's true. There
definitely.
you go. There you go.
We
Well,
appreciate you, Walter, jumping on and hanging out with us too, buddy.
Thank you. I don't do it often, but hopefully I didn't take too much of your questions, guys, and time away.
Yeah, it was way too much again. We don't know why you do it. What's your name on here? Rue Man Walter. I love it. Rue Man Walter.
Sure.
Yeah, I just thought I'd try that in just to be different. And yeah, look, next time you can just mute me, Sean, if I'm saying too much.
What'd you say?
There you go.
Sorry, just muted you.
I just unmuted myself.
That's awesome.
Every time Walter gets on the after show on Paragliding Talk, this is what does Robert do? Robert gets on there and he goes to Walter, he goes, Dad.
What are you trying to say, Linda? Sweetheart.
Oh, I see. I see the connection thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Sean, you
Robert
think I really
knows,
want
you know,
to? You think that's why I'm coming to America to see you?
That I saw the movie Coming to America. I don't think that was you.
No.
No.
That was a good movie though.
Maybe I should make one, eh?
You should.
Yeah.
You should. You should make a
Yeah,
Coming
Sam.
to America.
Yeah, Sam,
Tony
like him,
Tony
mate.
Marzano in the chat does have a question for Walter. Says, does the toll spin backwards in Australia? You go, actually, it spins backwards and it's upside down. And it's in the future.
Yeah, when I when I flush the toilet, I have a wash in the face as well.
Oh God,
Okay.
dude.
Without being rude.
Well, all right. Well, on that gross note, we also have Jim from Australia, tell us what it's all about and what you do over there.
Australia, no, he's from Canada, mate.
Did I say Australia? I meant Canada. I'm sorry, wrong country. Jim from Canada, not Jim from Australia. Jeez, I can't remember which one is which. Jim from Canada, tell us what it's all about.
I'm the one on the top of the world. He's the one on the bottom of the world.
There you go.
All right, we got it.
What do I do? I am, I guess, a printer. I've got careppg.com, which is a small YouTube channel that I put some things on every once in a while. But like Eric, most of my videos are just so that I can learn what I'm doing wrong. And well, at least for a little while anyway. I might start sharing those errors soon. Who knows?
I hope so. Put them on there so we can all see. Because if you don't see, then how can people go over to careppg.com right now, subscribe to your YouTube channel, and hit that bell notification so we can see what's going on? Eh?
And he also makes a great calendar too.
Bingo.
Thank you.
We appreciate you printing out those calendars for us. So yeah, Jim printed out a bunch of calendars for us that we got a bunch of pictures that people uploaded over on pbgzone.com, and Jim printed them all up. I bought 100 of them, gave them all out, including over to Resurgence PPG, so they can sell them and make some money and help Resurgence PPG. So we appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. It was fun to be part of it.
Absolutely. And everybody knows ParamomUSA.com, Linda Anderson. If you want to be on the show, go to ParamomUSA.com. Anything else before we head on out? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a little something else.
All right.
So Jade was touching on something about video processing, taking up a lot of her time and, not having time to get to it and stuff like that. I spent a lot of time processing video and doing these shows and stuff. I'm getting ready to step back a little bit, quit making so many YouTube videos and start concentrating a little bit more effort on some of my other aspects of life, like maybe building a house, that kind of thing. But anyway, for the next couple of weeks, I will not be on any shows because I'll be out and about. But getting back from that, I will try to continue to jump on a show every once in a while. But anyway, I'm kind of stepping back a little bit, I think, as far as, being able to be here every Monday night going forward. Man, I love y'all. And I just had a great time here for the last year being on the show with you every week, just about since I broke my leg, and just an incredible group of friends. And I look forward to continue to support you the best I can, tuning in, being in the chat, and when time allows, come on and jump on and a co-host with you. But for the next couple of weeks, you're not going to hear much out of me. I'm going to be 10,000 feet up a mountain without a paramotor.
Wow. I definitely can't wait to see these videos.
Man.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
You are going to video this little journey, right? I mean, of what you're doing, and then we'll be able to see what you're doing over the next couple of weeks, right? Or is this?
Yeah, I mean, video is not my priority, man. I'm going to spend some time with my brother, get out into the woods, be in nature.
Okay.
Hopefully bring back some meat. I'm sure it's in my nature to take video. I'll have a GoPro with me when I'm hunting. But it's definitely not my top priority.
Gotcha. Well, man, we definitely appreciate you jumping on the show when you get the chance. And obviously, the panel is just for anybody that wants to jump in anytime that they want to. And you're always welcome, Brian. And we definitely appreciate everything that you've done for the show and for the community.
Yeah, Brian. Thanks.
It's a great community, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brian,
I'm
for your
sad
work.
now.
Thanks, Brian.
Sad.
It'll be sad. It's just moving on to a new chapter.
Yeah.
Everything
I know.
Everything evolves and changes, and I will always be here to support y'all, man. No doubt.
We're gonna
Yeah, have
do
fun
more.
hunting with your family and be safe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I might have to take his place, Sean.
Well, don't break your leg to do it. We don't need that, but Brian, thank you so much for everything you do. Will Fly, thank you very much. Eric and Jade, you guys are awesome. I appreciate everything you've done for me on the fly-in, so thank you, thank you. Jim, everything you do with the calendar and everything you do for the community. Paramount USA, Linda Anderson, everything that you do for all of the shows. And Rue Man Walter from Down Under, you predict that we will be here tomorrow, and we love you very much, and thank you so much. This is Sean Simons, PPG Grandpa, ClearPropTV, PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, and paratalk.org. Signing out. We'll see you tomorrow at ppgshane.com. On Wednesday, Girls Just Want to Fly with Flying Flamingo Jade at Paramotor Girl. Thursday, there's something going on. What was Thursday? Something about flying with a paramotor or paragliding. What was that?
Paragliding chalk.
Come. All right. We love you all. Have a wonderful evening. Safe evening.
chatters.
And we will see you next week.
Hey.
Cheers.
Bye, all.
Yay. See y'all later, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Great show.
Right.
Guys.
Great show.